I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this. That's crazy. I gave Iowa State as an example. Completely forgot that you are a cyclone.
I'm a former Division I golfer.
That's right. An Iowa State golfer. Yeah. Actually, Lindy, what's up, everybody, by the way? Hope you all had a nice weekend. I'm having a nice little stretch here. 4 winning days in a row, and 3 of them were great. So hopefully that continues because this is a lot of fun. I've discovered from doing this for several years now, winning bets is just a lot more fun than losing them.
It's weird.
It's weird how it works out. But yeah, you know what I've realized is I've talked to Lindy, the Minnesota Twins fan. I've talked to Lindy, the Minnesota Vikings fan. I don't think I've ever had a Timberwolves discussion. I don't think I've ever heard from you as a Timberwolves fan before. What are your thoughts right now?
Just trepidation, being very, very careful. I think I'm gonna have to find a way to go to Game 5 and go have my face plastered all over the place. I'm very excited for it. I know Chris has got a Lakers flag behind him, so I don't want to talk too ill of anything. But like, when you can play as physical as what they're allowing them to play right now, it's a different basketball team because Julius Randle is actually an upgrade over Cat in this style of basketball.
Yeah,
because he can just kind of hold firm. He doesn't really get back down. People don't finish the rim as easily as what they did. And I don't know. This has been the most impressive 3-game stretch of Julius Randle's career, in my opinion. I thought it was a terrible trade at the time that it happened, but now that I look at the context of like McDaniels and Edwards, I mean, the defense that they are playing to kill Alexander Walker off the bench, the defense they're playing right now is got me very, very excited. And knowing how well we played against OKC during the regular season, how well we matched up, and those games looked pretty physical, I'm excited. Like, if we can keep it going, that would be awesome. But you got to get the job done. And against Luka and LeBron, it's not going to be free to get one game in the next 3, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be pumped as hell. And especially after the playoff run last year, it feels less like fool's gold. You might have yourself a team here. And look, as a Knicks guy, I do think there's a lot of positives when it comes to Julius Randle that don't get talked about. We all know the negatives. They get posted all over Twitter. We know the negatives, but I feel having that type of player on your team that kind of gives you like the emotional and physical edge at times. I've been saying it. I've said it a bunch of times. It's kind of what Draymond Green does for the Warriors. If things aren't going the way, he will pick up a tech to turn things around. Like, he does not care. Yep. He'll get in the ref's face knowing like this is just to turn the momentum. And Julius Randle's maybe not as good at it as Draymond Green, but he has that type of edge to be that type of player. I've always been a Julius Randle guy. I honestly think the trade was excellent for both sides, if you ask me.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way at the time. Again, I'm not even a Cat stan. I just thought we could have maybe gotten more or another piece, but whatever I've just seen from the last couple of days, maybe this is just what happens when you don't have to play 42 minutes a game in the regular season the way he did with Tibbs. And being able to kind of like slash out his minutes during a regular season. We had like injuries at inopportune times, but also it's allowed for us to be completely healthy going into the postseason, which I mean, I can't believe how much I've enjoyed watching Julius Randle play basketball the last couple games. I'm shocked, and I'm happy to be shocked because I'm a Minnesota fan, and normally you put expectations on anything and you're disappointed, but like, this is somehow worked, and it definitely wouldn't have been my doing.
Yeah. So anyway, why don't we talk about tonight's games? And I got to say, not really into these games as far as betting. I don't have an NBA bet down. I do have 4 MLB bets open, so I do have some action open. We'll get to it. All right, so this first one, my thoughts on this Cleveland-Miami game. I think has Darius Garland, do we have an update on that? I don't think he's going to play.
I don't think he is either. Now that they're up 3-0, you might as well just like
right.
Put
What's
him on
the
back
point?
Burner.
And especially, they just looked excellent without him. Like, excellent. What's the point of rushing him back on the road here when they just beat Miami handedly without him? I would be very surprised if Darius Garland plays in this game. And if Darius Garland doesn't play, I have this one just on a basketball mindset. Just On the court, Cleveland at Miami with no Darius Garland. I have this one at 6.5. So based on, notice I'm not putting the Miami plus 8.5 tag under my face because there's a clause coming. I have this one at 6.5, just on the court, Cleveland on the road with no Garland at Miami. I think it should be 6.5. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances here. The two main ones, Cleveland shooting at 43% from outside in this series. Miami has struggled to defend the three-point shot for most of this year. So although you look at that and you're like, oh, that can't keep up. They can't shoot 43% over a span. And then it's like, well, hold on. Maybe they just can against Miami. Maybe that is just what it is. Maybe they're going to continue to shoot 43%. And the other reason, probably the more important reason why I'm hesitant to throw up a Miami plus 8.5 tag, which I'm going to do in a second. I just want to make sure everyone knows that there should be hesitations if you're going to tail this. I didn't bet it myself. It's a 3-0 series. I don't... A lot of times that gets over-exaggerated. The players are going to give up and not care. A lot of times that's more of a talking point on YouTube and on sports shows than it is a reality. But, I mean, if Cleveland takes a 12-point lead at any point in this game, is Miami going to be like, good season, guys? Like, I that's always a possibility. So I am putting it up because my pick for this game, if you asked me to place a bet on it, would probably be Miami plus the points. But I am not betting it. Like I said, don't have an NBA bet open at this time. Lindy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple of different things. I'm with you. I think having a 3-0 series like this does make it extremely difficult just to figure out where are the minutes going to go? Who's going to be seeing more of the court time if it's a 10-point game at the end of the third quarter on the Heat side? And then for Cleveland, you have such a big Q tag just waiting in the wings. And if Garland ends up playing and you single game parlayed overs together, you're not going to be too thrilled with anything that goes down.
Let me mute Toast. I'm sorry. I muted him. Toast,
okay.
Toast is making noise in the background in our ears, by the way.
How dare he? How dare he? But anywho, the main thing for me is if you're going to have a closeout game and you're going to look at any in particular piece here, I mean, Donovan Mitchell's probably the main guy, where maybe you just push his minutes a little bit more, try to get this done right away. But you can go back and win a game 5. I can't imagine you'd want to try to play 40 minutes, 42 minutes of a Donovan Mitchell at a 30.5% usage, which is where he's been with Darius Garland off the floor. The other thing too, Ty Jerome, some of his props are really, really low. 24.2% usage, 62% true shooting with Darius Garland off the floor, 41.1% from 3 and nearly 1,000-minute sample size. Shout out to Ty Jerome for just reinventing himself, looking more like the kid who played at Virginia once upon a time and, ran that team to a ship. He's a winner. He's an NCAA champion. They probably didn't deserve to win that Final Four game. I was there in Minneapolis for anybody who cares, but I definitely care about Ty Jerome. I think he's probably the main guy to pay attention to. Single game parlay this together. You got an 8.5 listed for you for the Miami side. My data likes Miami, but I basically overrode it and said I'd lean towards the Cleveland side. They've just been exponentially better. And, with this current Miami team, they know that they're not going anywhere. I mean, there's no Jimmy Butler coming to save the day today. And the more that I run the numbers on this, it's basically Ty Jerome, 12.5 points. I saw 3.5 assists earlier. If that's still existing, I just kind of put those two together. Hope that you get Darius Garland sitting and move on with my day. You're getting some kind of a nice payout there that overtakes, what the risk would be if he does end up playing. But I'm probably not going to do anything with this one.
Guys, it's YouTube, we have excellent connection, so it's just refresh the stream and it's fine. It's on your guys. It's on YouTube's end. They just did one of those buffering things. Chris, what do you think?
I think I agree with you and Lindy. And if I was betting it, well, Lindy,
I was going to say we disagree.
At the beginning, he sounded like he was a little bit more.
I like how he said my data likes Miami because that's basically what I'm saying too.
But it's so hard when you're using regular season data and then you go to the playoffs and you start ramping up the minutes. And so for me, I just kind of overrode it because it's Miami plus 6.5 fair number for me. And I'm just saying, F it, give me Cleveland.
Yeah.
It sounds like Chris might agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think I'd be playing Miami before I'd be playing Cavs. I think And it's hard because what Lindy was saying is right. Like the playoff data says, why are we even talking about this game? We should have been laid the number, and the series is over. Cleveland can't stop making threes, and Miami can't defend the 3-point line at all. So what are we actually talking about here? I think, listening to what you say, Kyle, it does make me think a little bit more towards like a Cleveland team total over. Because regardless if Miami is able to keep the game close, I think it'll be with their offense and not necessarily their defense. They have shown no signs at all. Like coming back home down 0-2 and then giving up 120 points and losing by 35 was not on my bingo card for Miami on Saturday. But that's how, the cookie crumbled for them. And I guess to in this game, we're betting on some regression that we haven't seen from Cleveland at all, right? If we're taking Cleveland, they have offensive ratings of 136 and 128 and 137. So we would need Miami to play a little bit of defense and score the basketball here, which I guess they're capable of doing. I will say this. 1 seeds in closeout games as road favorites are not profitable just over the course of time. 12, 17, and 1 against the number, only 41%. We just saw this happen. And Kyle, you were on the Grizzlies plus the points the other day. And I don't know if you were on them for game 4, but I know you were on them for game 3. So that's
I was actually tailing
angle.
somebody on that. That wasn't my pick. But yeah, I did win the bet, but it wasn't. I was indifferent on it. But yeah, I did win that bet on Memphis.
Yeah, I'm indifferent on this one too. I think I expect Miami to play with a little heart here. I don't know if they got enough, but I think they should be able to keep it within the number, I guess. And I also nobody mentioned it, but Miami, if they're going to have a chance, it's going to be early. Right, they typically fade in the second half of games, so I couldn't talk anybody off of like a Miami first quarter +3, because that way, if they lose the first quarter, you don't even have to watch the rest of the game. You say, "Oh, this Miami Heat team suck," and I'll never bet them again. And Spoelstra needs to be fired, and you can go down that a little.
And put the Yankees O's on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I couldn't talk anybody off like a Miami early. The other thing, going to what Lindy was saying about player prop. Davion Mitchell, he has continued to cash. His points per assists, I think 17.5, 18.5. That's been absolute money. He's not only cashed it every game this series, which is 3-0 to the over, but he's cashed it every game since the play-in started. So he's 5-0. He cashed this against the Bulls. He cashed it against the Atlanta Hawks, and he's just continued to get the minutes. So 33 minutes in all 5 games. 5-0 to the over. He's going to be out there to slow down, Donovan Mitchell, of course. And if Garland plays, he'll be out there even more as well, kind of taking some of the playmaking duties away from Tyler Hero. So I think we talked about this on the last one. I couldn't talk anybody off of his over either, but these are just 2 lanes for me. I didn't bet either one of them.
All right, let's move on to the next game, which is equally as difficult. If you guys watched the midnight show last night, you know what I'm about to say. A little frustrated about game 3. And it's my own fault. What happened was Jimmy Butler news broke out. I went and grabbed Rockets as quick as I can, thinking I was just going to beat the injury line movement. That wasn't the case. Seems like Jimmy Butler not playing was already cooked in, and I got the same number at close. And to be honest, I don't think I would have bet the Rockets if I didn't. I grabbed the Rockets +2.5, thinking it was going to close at a pick, and that wasn't the case. So I took a bet that I probably wouldn't have taken. That being said, this one's so hard because in my opinion, without Jimmy Butler, this should be close to a pick. But Golden State keeps hitting these heroic shots, and part of me is like, oh, they can't continue to hit these shots down the stretch.
Kyle, real quick, Jimmy is expected to play now.
That's what they said in Game 3 as well. I don't think he's gonna play.
But no, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that the update since yesterday or since this morning,
they said he was expected to play. They said he was expected to play for Game 3. I don't know. What do you guys think? I have no interest in betting this game, to be honest.
I'm not probably going to bet it either. But go ahead, Lindy. I'll talk about a total in just a second.
I bet one thing. Let me pull a toast. Oh, I got so much closing line value. I got 1 point. I bet Steph Curry over 26.5 points. It was a weird number going up against Houston here. And obviously Dylan Brooks, not as effective, had some foul trouble, ends up fouling that one out. But I do think that this has got more to do with like a home crowd Steph Curry kind of situation. I was going through a lot of his playoff data the other day because it's fun to do. His 3-pointers are actually way down relative to previous seasons. 10.8 per 36 minutes in the playoffs in 2022. 2023, 11.5. This season, only 9.5, but he's getting much, much better looks. And it's kind of strange because we're 3 games into this Houston series, and I feel like they've been pretty physical with him. He's shooting 52.6%. So you could say, hey, there's some negative regression on that and a 64.9% effective field goal percentage. But I think if you get Jimmy Butler out on the floor, I think it actually even becomes even better. Plus, it just feels as though even though they're trying to body him up with the number of guys, Steph Curry, just with the construct of this offense at the moment, like Draymond Green is so smart at being able to get Steph Curry into space, and we can dog on Draymond Green. I dog on Draymond Green because it's like a lot of people could have been successful playing with Steph Curry, prime
That's
Steph Curry
fair.
and Klay Thompson. But
I disagree.
I'm saying that I'm giving him credit right now is what I'm saying, is that I think a lot of the looks that Steph Curry's getting right now are a byproduct of the fact that Draymond Green understands exactly what teams are trying to do to him, that they're trying to put Amin Thompson, Dylan Brooks right up into his chest, and they just find ways of setting great screens, more minutes for Kevon Looney setting screens. They were talking about that throughout the entire telecast. So even though his averages are, as far as like attempts are down, part of that can also just be the defensive schemes and the pace of this series that we've got. I mean, his efficiency has been up over previous postseasons. So shout out Pajemski, shout out some of the other guys that are doing enough, and Moses Moody. Buddy Hield, the hero of game 3, I would say. But Steph lackadaisically walked himself into 30 plus last time around, and he had 2 points in the first quarter. I think you see more output from him in the first quarter, even alongside Jimmy Butler over the course of this season. We've seen him right around that 30% usage number. I feel really good about Steph continuing it going at home. 26.5 was a low number from the onset. 27.5 is where it sits at now. Maybe it came back down since Butler was announced that he's supposed to play, but that's my one play from this one, and it's about as square as it gets, and I don't really care.
Yeah, I like what Sylvester McNutt in the comments said. Let me find it. Said if Butler plays, Golden State's efficiency goes way up. And that's kind of how I feel. If Butler doesn't play, I would put this one Golden State -1, -1.5, in which case the play would be the Rockets, in my opinion. If Butler does play, I do not want to be on Houston. In fact, in my opinion, if Butler does not play, the total would be too low. So if Butler does play, I would want to be on over 202.5. But that's the thing. I said this before game 3. I don't trust Steve Kerr. And I don't mean it like, oh, Steve Kerr's a liar. I mean it like he's one of those guys that strategically uses the media. I mean, as he should. He does whatever he can to give his team the best chance to win. Reminds me of Kyle Whittingham out in Utah. Told us Cam Rising was a game-time decision in week 0. Didn't play a single snap all year. So, I mean, these guys, I think Steve Kerr, I don't think Jimmy Butler's going to play the rest of this series. I don't know shit. I'm not a licensed physician, believe it or not. But when this first happened, they were saying 2 to 3 weeks, and then an hour later it was like, oh, he's questionable for game 1. We're optimistic. For game 3, they were optimistic he was going to play. So I don't know. I have no interest in betting it. Chris?
Yeah, it stinks. It sucks that this is the 2 games that we got today too. Shout out to
tomorrow.
Memphis,
There's some cool ones.
It's for tomorrow, but you know, I'd like really try to take a deep dive, and it sucks when you're like 30 minutes into your handicap and you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
So that's where I've been at. I feel like and I don't want to force a play, of course, but I'll say this. As far as the total, Cal, I think I agree with you in the sense that Jimmy makes the offense more efficient. He also makes the defense, I would argue, a little bit better. They're a better rebounding team as well. If Jimmy doesn't play, I do think that there's something that we can go to as far as the total. I like the first quarter. If Jimmy doesn't play, first quarter under. You can get like some 49.5s. I think a couple juice 50.5s. But you just like these teams have started off so slow. We don't see any pace. We don't see any team trying to get out and run in transition. I don't think that that's magically just going to start here. If anything, I think, Houston has been the better offense to start the game, and then they can't finish. So you go back and look at game 1, 39 combined points scored between the two teams early in the first quarter. Game 2 saw a whopping 46 points scored in the first quarter. And then most recently in game 3 in the Bay, they scored 40 points in the first quarter. So, 50 sounds like a very low number for a regular season game. But between two teams that are, literally just out there punching each other and the refs not calling a lot of fouls, like it's really not that low. Who's really scoring the basketball? Sengun's numbers are down. Jalen Green is like a single-digit scorer nowadays. So I kind of like under, but I don't like it as much if Jimmy doesn't play. So first quarter under 49.5. Just trying to get creative.
Yeah, first quarter
if he doesn't play.
If he doesn't play, yep. All right, let's move on to talk some MLB. Chris, enjoy your day. See you tomorrow.
Yes, we got 4 good ones tomorrow.
Yeah, I already got a bet down, and I'm zeroing
Me too.
in. Yeah, I'm ready for
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right, good. Best of luck tonight, fellas.
Later.
You too, buddy. We'll see you.
All right, let's switch over. So you got to give me 1 second because we have 4. We have Scoop joining us for the. So we need about a 60-second intermission here.
Ooh.
Yeah, Scoop, you might be. Whoa, did I just freeze? I look frozen on the screen. Whoa. All right, I'm back. I don't know what just happened. I just froze. So yeah, I haven't done a 4-person in a while, so you're just gonna need to give me 1 second to set up. If you might be wondering, Kyle, why is Scoop joining the stream? Scoop sucks. No one wants to hear what he has to say. But actually, Scoop, against all likelihood, has started the MLB season up like 12 units. So we reluctantly have to bring Scoop on to talk to the masses. Let's get him on. Scoop, so you want to share your secret? How do you start off the MLB season so hot?
I'm not even supposed to be here today. No, I can't share all the secrets.
Okay, you can't share them?
All right. 95% blind luck.
All right, let's get everyone on here. And we got Toast. We get Toast in his spot. Toast, did you end up betting Mets Nats? No, right? Me neither.
I'm on under 0.5 hits for Francisco Alvarez.
Did you fire on that? Okay. I was going to tail that, but...
Yeah. I'm kind of mad that I didn't do it just for like Ventos too, because he's actually technically been worse, but it was a lineup order thing. So I just stayed true to it.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Soto, like total bases, but I needed a better price. And
Ventos singles to right. There you go. Thank God.
Look at you.
Thank God. Just so sharp. So sharp. Just wait for Alvarez to hit a bomb.
I was going to say it's either going to be a home run or a strikeout.
It's like last year when Freddie Freeman couldn't walk, and I couldn't believe I bet his under 0.5 hits at like plus 240. It closed at plus 170, and he had a homer in his first at bat with 1 foot. I got like 70 cents of closing line value on an under hit because they were talking about like he might not even be able to play. He couldn't even move. He had a DH. It was so dumb. So dumb.
So without further ado, like I said, we have 7 MLB games to go through because the Mets started. I bet 4 of the 7. So I'm ready to roll today, and I don't want to S my own D. I got positive CLV on all 4. What could possibly go wrong? There's no way I go 0-4 with 4 bets of positive.
Oh my God!
So
S
actually,
my own D. That's
my
a great
own D.
start to a show.
I want to pass the ball to, believe it or not, Scoop, because he has a player prop in this game. Minnesota Cleveland, Scoop.
Yeah, so Seam God is here, as Chos loves to call me. Yeah, I mean, listen, Twins coming off a sweep of the Angels, big deal. Angels stink. Their pitching's terrible. Their hitting started off well. It's trailing off now. They can't get on base. And they have the 4th worst pitching staff on the year. So sweep of the Angels is like sweeping the Trenton Thunder. I don't really give a shit. Either way, they're 3-10 on the road. Only team worse in the American League is the White Sox, and 2 of the away wins were against the White Sox. So Bailey Ober is not a great pitcher. 5.04 ERA, had a great start last time out, but again, against the White Sox. So still has a 1.44 whip. He's not great. Still in the bottom third of the league in xERA, XBA, and he has a pretty decent hard hit rate. So is Gavin Williams good on the other side? No, not really. Should be some runs here with the win going out. He did he had a great outing against the Yankees the last time out, and he shut down the Twins last year. They weren't doing well against him. He has a 2.45 in ERA in the 2 games with against the Twins. So, listen, the Twins are due for a loss. Jose Ramirez has great numbers against Ober, 579 slugging, 316 batting average. Might be worth throwing money on him to get a few hits or a donger, as Modai says, right? Dongers or dongs. 350 on a donger. There's just no confidence really in the Twins right now. I know they're riding high, but when Byron Buxton is leading your team in hitting with a 237 batting average, there's a problem there. And just as an FYI, the Guardians' leading batting average leader is Kwan with 346, and the only every other day player on the Twins that has a better on-base percentage than that is Matt Wallner. So I think Gavin Williams shoves today. I think the Guardians is a good pick. Yeah.
I did go with Cleveland, but we've talked about it last night. It's probably the most square bet on the board. I got it at minus 120. It's now, it hasn't moved that much. I think you could still get like a minus 128 if you look, a minus 125. So it hasn't moved that much. We're polling heavy on Cleveland. This is going to be the quote unquote public play of the day. I don't really understand why they're giving us such a good price. Maybe you could say Bailey Ober has the starting pitching advantage over Gavin Williams, but we're talking about Bailey Ober pitching against a bunch of lefty bats in the Cleveland lineup. Bailey Ober's numbers in this early season looking really shaky against lefties. 4.11 WOBA against left-handed bats this year, and Cleveland's loaded with lefties. So I took Cleveland at minus 120, got some CLV. But why don't we ask our Twins fan here, Lindy, what's with the price? Doesn't this feel a little short for Cleveland?
No, it seems about appropriate because both pitchers absolutely suck. Bailey Ober, 49.4% hard hit, 21.2 degree average launch angle. I can't stand Bailey Ober's face. Every time he's on the TV, I want to punch it. It's probably the way people feel about me on YouTube. And then Gavin Williams, 368 xWOBA, 11% walk rate. What are we doing? Does strike out batters, and it kind of gets interesting there, but I'm on the over of the game. I'm still shocked this is sitting at 8. We got wind blowing out 75 degrees in Cleveland. It's been playing up for lefty power, both righties out on the mound. And then Cleveland's bullpen is not what it used to be because you do not have a ninth inning guaranteed safety net in Clase because he just hasn't been remotely the same dude. I don't know what happened against Detroit last year, but it feels as though he's got the yips. Is that exactly? I'm glad Toast kind of agrees because I'm not trying to be like some no baller. I'm more of a data guy, but like Clase has the yips right now. And I don't know how Stephen Vogt gets him out of this right now, but you need him if you're Cleveland. You need a lot of help now outside of Gaddis. I mean, it's just not guaranteed anymore the same way 8th, 9th was for Cleveland once upon a time. So you want to get on 8, 8.5, doesn't really matter. There's an 8 at minus 115 at FanDuel right now. I like that. And then I ended up at plus 335 Byron Buxton to go yard. It's now plus 300 best available. I know this isn't my favorite batted ball profile when you have a righty who's striking out righties more. And then you've got Byron Buxton, who has always kind of been a strikeout guy. But everything else matches up too perfectly not to take some shots on it. And then you get the insurance policy of good hitting weather and a downgraded Cleveland bullpen over years past. So I think Byron Buxton going here sets up perfectly.
Yeah, and our graphics automatically put the consensus line in. You can definitely find 8s. FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars has a juiced 8. So if you look, you can definitely get, if you're going to take this over, you can definitely get an 8 if you look.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be a 5-3 ball game and everybody telling me what an idiot I am in the comments section.
That doesn't sound like our community.
No, not at all.
Our community is respectable.
Toast.
To Lindy's point about the Clase thing, because I'm on Cleveland as well. We really can't add anything to what all three of you guys said, but I think that what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to start picking his spots. Luckily for him, he has Gaddis and Cade Smith that he can trust. So I think you're going to start seeing maybe taking him out of that, maybe not saying in the media that he's not the closer, but maybe finding some easy landing spots for Clase, whether it be in the 7th or 8th inning where he can maybe pitch, get an out in the 7th and then work all the way through the 8th. I think that something like that we might start seeing with them. But again, I'm going to fade the Twins at this price pretty much any chance that I can get. And I disagree with Lindy. I think that Gavin Williams is a pitcher on the rise, but that's here nor there right now.
So, okay, I was being a little dramatic because that's what I tend to be, but I also want it pointed out that Gavin Williams has some major warts going on right now. And if you look through his pitch mix, like we got to set up the sweeper. Like the sweeper is the pitch, but when you have 55% of your freaking pitches coming from the four-seamer that's just giving up hard contact to both sides of the plate for 12x WOBA, you are a problem. You're actually a liability to your baseball team at a ballpark that's playing way up for lefty power over the last year and a half. So it's just, it has more to do with the environment and the ballpark. I think there's going to be certain ballparks I do want to, like Kansas City's a great ballpark, I think, for him to go into on the road as a dog. Like there's going to be spots we take shots on it, but holy Lord of Christ, Gavin Williams is not very good right now.
One other thing I want to ask you, dead serious, not talking shit. I know that the Twins can't hit fastballs to save their life this year. How much emphasis do you put on that, or is it just way too much of a sample to even worry about it?
Well, it just depends on who we're talking about, too. Okay. I mean, you go through batted ball profiles, and you can go through all the pitch mixes. You can kind of like get a little bit over your head with stuff. Because like if you do weighted pitch values over on Fangraphs, the fastball run above average, that's something that I do have for guys who are very, very fastball prone, like Gavin Williams. I put a 50% weight on just that pitch going up against the Twins.
Okay.
And they've got 2.3 runs above expectation relative to other spots. So it's a little bit different. Also, we kind of have all of our like hard hitting lefties are out. Like everybody's hurt. So it's kind of hard to really look at it. Royce Williams is out of the line. Like, it's definitely a downgraded lineup by every stretch of the imagination, but no matter which sample size you look at, Gavin Williams is still doing enough where, you know, his implied run total is at 4.2. And again, I've got this graded a little bit higher just because of the weather.
So I moved this on, by the way, to Yankees Orioles in Camden, and this is not one of the 4 bets I placed. That being said, I have my finger on the trigger here because I think this is a spot you play Baltimore at this number. It's plus 112 now. It's moved towards New York a little bit. I don't think Sagano's been as bad as people think. And in fact, if you compare him to Will Warren, I don't think the Yankees even have that significant of a starting pitching advantage. But even if you do like Will Warren significantly better than Sagano, let's just say you do. I'll concede it. Let's say you think Will Warren's a lot better than Sagano. You got Will Warren pitching against a bunch of lefties in the Orioles lineup. He struggled against lefties this year. You got the Yankees coming off a doubleheader. The Orioles bullpen is rested. I think the Orioles are going to smack Will Warren around. The Yankees bullpen, they used everybody yesterday. They were rested, so they'll be available to pitch again, but they all just pitched yesterday. I think Orioles plus 112 is worth glancing at. What about Scoop?
A couple things. Lundy, you're a liability. Don't talk shit about Gavin Williams.
What, you like Gavin Williams too, Scoop?
Oh, I love him. He's a great guy.
And it's good
to be here. It's just not me and Toast, because now Toast can yell at Lindy and doesn't have to yell at me, so it's really nice being a third guy. I think the Orioles are dog shit. That's not me hating. I know I'm a Yankee fan. They're just a bad team with bad people in the city like Shipley and Charles. Yankees historically, I know, dominated the Orioles until recently, the last couple of years. It's just hard to put money on the Orioles right now. I get what Kyle says. The bad part is, you know, they're coming off a doubleheader, playing the next day, probably tired. Sagano has been a bright spot for the Orioles with the rotation. I mean, he doesn't really strike people out. He plays the contact. On the other side, you know, Warren is what he is. If Heel or Cole, you know, were here, he probably wouldn't even be up here yet. So he's done a decent job so far, just not going far into the game, which is going to hurt since the Yankees bullpen has been used a lot this weekend. If that's the case, Orioles can put up runs. I agree. I do agree with you. So, or so you think. I mean, they've been so bad offensively. I still lean Yankees. Again, not being a homer, I didn't bet this game like you. But Sagano making teams play to contact, maybe rough with Yankee bats. The Yankees still do lead in home runs, second in batting average. You know, best on base plus slugging. And the thing that Yankees do struggle at is strikeouts. I mean, they're third worst in the league, but you're going against a non-strikeout pitcher. I lean the Yankees' way. I know they haven't been a great road team. They're 7-6, and it's why they're a short road favorite. Well, that and Warren in the bullpen. I just don't trust Warren enough to put to play a Yankees money line just because he's a little inconsistent. But I would do the Yankees or the over in this game.
I think Lindy's also on the Yankees, if I remember correctly, right, Lindy?
Yes. Sure, certainly am. So you can take back everything mean you just said about me and apologize in a very nice way. But
I just said you're a liability. I didn't say anything mean.
A liability? What does that even mean? So both you guys, what just happened?
I just called him a liability.
Oh no, he's back. Oh, he blanked out for a second. He's back.
His neighbor got off his Zoom call.
If for a second it looked like Lindy left because Scoop called him a liability.
Fuck this, you're mean.
All right. So Lindy also on the Yankees money line. Scoop didn't bet it though. Is this actually one of your bets today, Lindy?
Yeah, I actually bet it, and I actually got closing line value. So fuck all of you. It's not very nice. It's not very nice of you.
Yeah, Scoopy, bet your team. Lindy, you don't like Sagano?
Okay. So I don't like him whatsoever. Probably out of any of the Japanese pictures that we've had, get called up in recent years, this is probably the least appealing. Has gone 7 the last 2. I'll give him credit for starting to figure it out, but he's a 35-year-old pitcher with no strikeout offerings. And you know what happens when you have no strikeout offerings against the Yankees and they put the ball in play? The ball tends to go pretty far. It tends to go far on people. And also, Will Warren, I mean, maybe I just hadn't done enough of a breakdown of this cat before, because I kind of like what I see from him for the most part. Plus, did you know, in baseball right now, the team with the second worst run differential is the Baltimore Orioles? How is that even possible? How? The Rockies are worse. Orioles, so they can't pitch, they can't hit, and now we get an opportunity to get the Yankees here at -125 where I got it, -132 now. Happy to do either of those here, considering Will Warren, actually some interesting stuff, and he's only going to get better. And I know Sagano, it looks good in the box score, 3.54 ERA, 1.14 whip, but man, you don't have a strikeout offering against these lefties, and it's just going to get really, really tough for him in the AL East, I think, going forward. So a talent on the rise, a team in the Orioles that I think is a little bit overvalued even at this mark. I mean, they got to show something sometime soon, or it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's all Yankees here. There's a reason the line's moved in our favor.
Toast, didn't you say over? Don't you agree that it's a sneaky spot to play the O's, Toast?
Yeah, I played Baltimore team total over 4.5.
That's right. That's right. That's what you played.
I can't get behind either starting pitcher. I'm just not sure if I trust the Yankees bats right now. I do agree that this is a great spot for them to get right, but they really haven't been the dominant lineup that we think they are over the last couple weeks or so. But the thing with Sagano is that, like Lindy talked about, he doesn't strike people out a lot. He also doesn't walk a lot of people. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the Yankees to hit the ball a long way today. But I wanted to focus on Will Warren, struggling against a whole bunch of lefties. Obviously, Mullins, Gunnar, O'Hearn, Kerstad, Holiday, all lefties in that lineup. And then you talked about in the bullpen situation, we know that Baltimore can't hit left-handed pitching. They do really well against right-handed pitching. The two lefties that are in the pen for the Yankees, Tim Hell's went 2 of the last 3 days, and Tyler Matzik went 16 pitches yesterday. Not to mention that Cruz and Leiter also went 2 of the last 3 days as well. So I think that I'm almost positive there's not going to be a left-handed pitcher on the mound today for the Yankees. So with 9 full at bats most likely 9 full at bats from the Orioles, I'll take my chances at over 4.5. That line's moved against me though. If the Orioles weren't such a trash offense, I would have bet it again, but I'll do that.
Let's move on to Cardinals Reds. And Lindy, are you a believer in me and Toast talk about it all the time. We have won bets with this method. Fade the team the first day out of Coors Field without a day off. Are you a believer in that philosophy? You are? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Always have been. I brought it up to you guys last year, didn't I?
Maybe.
That's like my favorite thing.
We've been talking.
Years.
We definitely have talked about it on the show a lot of times. You might, maybe with you.
Me off. So there's somebody, this person went public and decided to just throw that edge out into the world. It never really used to get the steam that it should have over the course of the last couple of years. I will say the numbers have dwarfed exponentially. Like, we have not nearly gotten the same numbers as what we used to first game out of Coors for any team. Colorado, it's still something that you do routinely because Colorado sucks. But I just think when you go from seeing a ball that is spinning one way in Coors Field, which is not as much, it's just accentuated once you get outside of it. It's not just that it's thin air, but the thin air doesn't have curveballs affect a baseball as much. So like Nick Lodolo's 7 strikeouts or whatever it was yesterday, 7 innings. He was phenomenal, primarily with the curveball too. But I mean, that just speaks to how bad Colorado is. But now you get Cincinnati back at home in one of these spots, and you get a ground ball pitcher in Palante out there. He's got the worst stuff plus on any pitcher on this entire slate, but I still think that there's enough there. Whenever you get a guy who's got like negative in terms of launch angle and they're giving up hard contact, I usually give them the benefit of the doubt as long as, the fly balls they do give up aren't automatically leaving the yard. And Palante looks all right there. I didn't end up betting Lars Nootbaar home run. I did bet Brendan Donovan home run. Plus 650 is where I ended up there. If you're able to get plus 500 or better, I wasn't able to this morning. I haven't looked here this afternoon yet. On Lars Nootbaar, I'd be okay with it. But while Lars is the better of the launch candidates for the two, I think the batted ball profile looks better going up against Nick Martinez, who's a fly ball pitcher has been doing an okay job keeping it in the yard, but a 281 expected batting average. And then you just get Brendan Donovan, 45.1% hard hit, batting third in this lineup today, never strikes out, 12.5% strikeout rate. You are never getting gypped at the plate from him, no matter what. I like that. I'm on St. Louis money line as well. Didn't see where that moved to. Got it at plus 105, but I'm rolling here against Cincy out of Coors and Brendan Donovan going yard.
I want to bet the Cardinals money line so bad. You know what's weird? And this should not influence my decision making at all. So I'm well aware that what I'm about to say is entirely irrational. Last night and today, our viewership polling heavy on the Cardinals.
Good.
I again shouldn't influence my decision. I just thought everyone would be taking. Oh, not Cincinnati. You're on St. Louis.
Yeah.
What do you want, Scoop?
Lindy, just when I thought you couldn't be any dumber, you do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
Thank you.
I'm on the Cards money line. I know it's hard to take a Cardinals team that's 2-11 on the road. I also just hate picking a team after they beat up a shit team like the Reds just did to the Rockies. I'm not sure.
Miami.
Well, true.
And Baltimore. I mean, who's Cincinnati played in the last 2 weeks? That's good.
Well,
Just let me know.
I'm your friend.
Nobody.
Wow.
Not sure on the odds of tomorrow, but if Mikolas was pitching this game, I would have been all over the Reds. That guy sucks. I'm still gonna, I would take a stab at the Cardinals here on money line. It was plus 102 before. It's because of their offense. One of the best hitting teams in the league right now. Lindy said it. Brendan Donovan's been awesome for this team. Newpart's taking a lot of walks, has a good eye, and now Nick Martinez is on the mound, and all Martinez's starts this year. The Reds are 0-5. He hasn't had a game this year where he's pitched under a 5.4 ERA, and when he did, that was the last game against the Marlins. So even then, he only went 5 2/3. He hasn't gone 6 since his opening start when he gave up 4 runs to a 6 ERA. So I think the Cards here can put up 5+ runs here against the Reds, which should be enough to put them over the top. I know the pitching for the Cardinals is what really you have to look out for, but I mean, the thing with Great American Ballpark, I feel like the ball can fly out here for the Cards. Martinez gives up a ton of fly balls. I just feel like we should pump the brakes on the Reds' love right now. Like Toe said, the 4 straight against the Marlins and the Rockies. I mean, Palante, too, has owned the Reds over his career. Against the Reds are batting 188 against them. He has 13 strikeouts, 64 at-bats. I know the Cards have been bad on the road, but I feel like it's worth taking a stab on the money line here.
Sounds like Toast is leaning the same way.
Yeah, Scoop just took the air out of my balloon, though, so that doesn't
I'll
help.
take the air out of a lot of stuff.
I'm on the Cardinals here. I really can't add much, but I just wanted to point out, like, I understand that St. Louis is 3-7 their last 10, but I do think that they've been playing way, way better baseball after that 4-game sweep to the Mets. They went into Atlanta and they lost 2 out of the 3 games, but they scored 18 runs or 17 runs in those games. On Monday, their bullpen gave up, I think, 5 runs in the 8th inning to lose that game 6-7. And then as far as in Milwaukee, they won the first 2 games of that series, and then they had a stinker on Sunday, and they got absolutely blasted. But besides, I just think that St. Louis is playing a lot better baseball than people give them credit for. And if they would have took 2 out of 3 of Atlanta and 2 out of 3 of Milwaukee, I don't think that we would be getting this price like this. And then like I said vaguely before, Cincinnati is playing good baseball, but they're also playing teams like Seattle, Baltimore, Miami, and Colorado. Say what you want about Seattle, but those other 3 teams are not good baseball teams. So I just don't put too much stock in how well Cincinnati's playing right now. Add-on coming out of Coors and whatnot. St. Louis has a full bullpen as well. I played the Cardinals.
I'm too scared to do it. I'm going to put up the under. I think 9.5 is too much. Slight wind blowing in Great American. I think both pitchers could pitch well. The Reds lineup coming out of Coors. I think if I was to bet this game, I would go under the big number of 9.5. Can't do it. I'm too scared to bet the Cardinals. 2-11 on the road is some serious shit.
Lindy,
Scared money don't make money.
9.5 now juiced. For most
Diamond
places.
upside down's a pussy.
Oh my god.
Next up, Athletics on the road in Arlington, and I do have a bet in this one. Got moved a little bit, but you could still get a number very similar to mine. Very simply, I got Athletics first 5 money line -110. The A's just saw Patrick Corbin, and this is an A's lineup that's been pretty effective against left-handed pitching dating back to last year. Actually, it might have been the last 2 years now where the A's have been okay against left-handed pitching. So you're giving me the A's against Patrick Corbin in back-to-back starts. They just saw him 6 days ago. Yeah, I'm going with the A's first 5 money line. I got it at -110. Let me see if you could still get that. I think it did move a little bit.
Lindy, does your fancy computer put the color green on Higashioka now that he's in the 2-hole today? Because I was kind of looking at him.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely look a little bit different. This lineup is it's something. It's something.
That's why I asked, because I didn't think I was trying to play Higashioka props. I didn't know that he was going to be in the 2-hole, which only helps me as far as props. But now the prices are completely different. So I was just kind of hearing. I know that you pay attention to that stuff, so I was just kind of curious your thoughts.
No, he's going to be a huge DFS target for the whole fantasy game thing. 2.6K on DraftKings if anybody gives a shit about those things. But I'm going to have an absolute metric ton of him. I'm playing him in cash games for that. Okay. So there's that.
Lindy, what are your thoughts on my A's first 5 money line bet?
I don't completely hate it. I'm shocked that I'm not targeting Patrick Corbin today. I'm shocked. I have no words. I'm actually going with a batter prop on the Texas side. Not Higashioka, but it's nice to have some kind of protection because he hasn't had any protection other than from other people like Jock Peterson existing and stuff at times. But against the southpaw JP Sears, it's Wyatt Langford. I mean, this kid is ridiculous. What is going on? I mean, he only has an 18.9% K rate. We're talking a 344 average going up against and a 688 slugging. He's just, I mean, everything he's doing is just so impressive. And he's not even doing it pulling the baseball. Only a 45.1% pull percentage against a lefty who's going to help him out in that department. Because why does pull percentage matter? It depends on the ballpark. Obviously, Crawford boxes are going to look different, but like the poles, it's shorter to the poles in each section, whereas it's longer out front to like center field. Why is that as well? Well, you know, barrels that you're able to pull have a better chance of leaving the ballpark rather than just barrels that are hit out towards center. That's why the ballpark dimensions are the way that they are. And so there are ways in Arlington here with the wind, which should affect it. Roof's open to my knowledge in Arlington yet again. So this is going to be there's really good hitting weather for the most part and good hitting environments on the slate. I think Baltimore isn't exactly a 0. Cleveland's pretty good as well. Washington in this first game is pretty darn good off to a couple of runs early. Coors Field on the slate. Dodger Stadium generally been pretty good, although it's a little cooler. I definitely think we're going to see some runs around the place today, and Wyatt Langford should get the party started. Launch is just perfect. You get some type of protection and a righty ahead of you here in Higashioka, who's been surprisingly good. Everything from him this season, 436 expected slugging. I mean, there's still room for that to improve, but a 272 expected batting average, setting the table up for himself. 418 xWOBA. I mean, I just love Wyatt Langford this year.
Yeah, he's awesome. Toast, did you end up placing a bet on this one?
No, heavy lean to the Texas money line. Didn't place it though, but now that I have Lindy's okay, Kyle Higashioka over 1.5 total bases plus 116 on Caesars, and then Higashioka over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI minus 135 as well. Just notoriously hits lefties really well. Does have some power in that bat as well. I just really like him, especially hitting second with Langford behind him. That's just an easy play for me. That's just what we're going to do. Also, pull a page out of Modai's playbook. If you look on Ballpark Pal, Higashioka should really dominate versus Patrick Corbin, versus JP Sears. The release point, everything of that nature, all looks fantastic. So, I'm going to run it up with Higashioka.
Scoop, you have a bet on this one?
No, but I might tell you. A's have been hot, man. Kyle tried calling them fake sharps, right?
Yeah, that's my fake sharp team of the year.
But these Sacktown A's are the real deal. My Athletics Rockies World Series ticket still has a shot. JP Sears, ex-Yankees, been awesome lately. Could use him in the Bronx. And the thing with the Rangers is they strike out a lot against lefties, 26% of the time. I like Sears a hell of a lot more than Patrick Corbin. Game is pretty much the same odds across the board, same 5 innings, same money line for the game, or it was. I would take a shot at A's here. On the season, the Rangers have scored the fewest runs in the MLB. They don't hit for average. They're bad against lefties, like I said. Athletics already beat the Rangers 2 or 3 this season, and Sears hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in any game. I know Texas is far better at home in pretty much every stat than they are as a road team, but JP Sears has been better on the road, 237 ERA on the road, only 5 runs in 3 starts, has an opposing batting average of 200. And I mean, who actually trusts Patrick Corbin? I don't really care what he's doing this season. The last 5 seasons, he's still the worst pitcher in baseball. So I think Jacob Wilson will touch him up for a few. I actually bet Jacob Wilson has over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's at -115 when I bet it earlier. 2 hits was plus 200. Guy's a beast. So I wasn't betting this game, but I might take the A's first 5.
If you're going to take the A's full game, I'd be a little the bullpen's in rough shape.
No, well then I was just about to say, well then look at Texas's bullpen. Pull Texas's up and look at that. It's even worse.
No, it's not. I was just looking at it.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on.
Pull it up. Show the world.
Pulling it up here too. Want to let it be known. Just pulled up that indeed the roof is closed at Globe Life today. So
I can paint my numbers in that. Texas
anyway,
bullpen.
Luke Jackson pitched 1 pitch yesterday. Why did he have one? I've never seen 1 pitch.
He's tired.
He's tired. Okay,
you didn't see what happened? You didn't watch the game?
No, I didn't see the game.
They lost on
You didn't use your eyes. Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you what happens.
Oh.
When you watch the games, what happens was Ramos took a bat and he swung it, and then there was 2 errors on 1 pitch, which led him an inside the park home run. So
a walk-off inside the park home run.
That was good.
That seems bad.
but awesome.
Yeah, so Texas bullpen is also a little shaky. I don't know.
Swirls.
I did bet that first 5.
The swirls.
The swirls out there.
Let's move on to Detroit,
I would
Houston.
assume Luke Jackson's available if anybody's asking. I would assume.
So, Lindy, we talked about this one last night, and everyone hated my position, but I'm holding some CLV. I got the Astros at -105. It's now -120, basically just playing against the overreaction that Detroit is definitively a much better team than Houston this year. They're only 3 games up on the Astros so far this season. They're on the road in Houston. We're all just completely fine with writing Ronel Blanco off as a terrible starter. He was awesome last year. It was just playing. I don't think I would play it at this price. But at -105, it just seemed crazy to make Detroit a road favorite. I mean, mathematically, we're in week 2 of the NFL season. So because the A's, I mean, the Astros are 14-13 and the Tigers are 18-10, 3.5 games up. We're just like, oh yeah, Detroit's the better team this year. After week 2 in the NFL, the Saints were 2-0 and they were laying 3 points to the Eagles in week 3. Like, it just seems insane to draw conclusions this early into the season and saying Detroit is definitively a better team than Houston and should be laying juice on the road based on Blanco's shaky start to the season. I felt like an overreaction. Just because I got CLV doesn't mean the bet will win. We know that. We've learned that the violent way a few times. But I did get Houston at -105. Lindy, what are your thoughts?
Wow. So if you just kind of combine last year to this year, Jack Flaherty, 3.8 WAR. You're getting Ronel Blanco, 2.3 WAR. They're both pretty highly valued starting pitchers. I mean, I have no issue with either of them here. I'm on the under. I'm just kind of surprised to hear you say, like, I'm not a huge Ronel Blanco guy, but I got the under of 8. It's at 7.5 now. So that definitely came on down quickly. I think people saw probably what I was seeing. And the best pitch of anybody throwing today, out of anybody, period, is Jack Flaherty. I mean, that knuckle curve, he just continues to find success with it. He will continue to find success at the big league level. And then he's just been so lethal to righties. And this is just one of those teams in the Astros where you have one lefty. Like Houston, to their detriment, they've taken what I've said for years, and that's play to your home ballpark. They've taken it quite literally. They have all pull hitters who are righties, but you get these type of starters here in Jack Flaherty, and the guy should be able to just mow them down. So I really think he's going to have a lot of success. That knuckle curve continues to be just lethal. And then Ronel Blanco, he's been doing enough on that side of it too. You don't really have a ton in the Detroit side. You got to get by Kerry Bonds. You got to get by Riley Green. But outside of that, Spencer Torkelson's been better. I still don't think he's automatically getting a free pass from me, even though it's been a great start to his season. As you said, it's week 2 of the NFL season. I don't want to overreact to too much, but I mean, there isn't a single pitch in his main repertoire for Ronel Blanco where he's averaging over a 220 expected batting average. He's going to keep guys off the base paths. And I just think that he does enough around here that the under 7.5 is still very much in play for anybody who's jumping on now.
So you got an 8, you said?
I got 8.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, entering the season, What do you think the line of this game would have been entering the season? Say this was the opener.
If this was the opener, 7.
No, I meant Houston. How would they be priced?
Oh, how would Houston be priced? That's interesting. Do you want me to? I can actually do something where we just take 2024 data and we run it, and we just see what happens. All right, give me a second.
Actually, Scoop, you can go while Lindy's getting that. I'm very curious to see what it would be.
Yeah, I am on the over in this one.
Oh, fading Lindy.
Fading Lindy. Straight fade. I don't even have a reason. It's just that he took the under, so I immediately wanted to take the over. I'm not a huge Flaherty fan. ERA jumps from 159 at home to 435 on the road. Tigers coming off a sweep of the Orioles, like Toe says, playing bad teams. Then coming here, just played a doubleheader too on Saturday. Used 12 pitchers in 3 days. So their bullpen might be a little taxed from the night before, and now traveling to Houston a day later. If Flaherty struggles early, it might be a long game for the Tigers. On the other side, Blanco has a 5.01 ERA, 137 whip through 5 starts. He's given up 13 runs, 20 hits over 23 in the third. I know he pitched well in 2 of the last 3, but he can get lit up at any time. Even Javi Baez is hitting the ball for the Tigers, so that's saying something for them. Team's been playing really well. But you also have to be wary of the Tigers. I mean, they're hot, but they won 8 of the last 10, all of them at home. They haven't traveled in a while, so I feel like the Astros may be a little undervalued here. I know the Tigers' bullpen has been lights out lately, but, the Astros started off the year absolutely terrible in hitting, and now the past 2 weeks they've kind of gotten back to being Astros baseball. So I know the under's on a roll for the Tigers too. I think they're 8-2-2 the last 12, but playing this game like a roulette kind of game for me. If red comes out too many times, black's going to hit here. I think books are just really overvaluing the pitching here. I don't think either team's good at all. I don't think Flaherty's good at all on the road. I don't think Blanco's good at all in general. So, and I think books are overvaluing the Tigers in general. So I'm with the over for multiple reasons. One being that, and one is Lindy's on the under. And if I had to pick a side, I'd take the Astros here. I'm hoping the Flaherty away splits just keep it up. So over is a spaghetti whale lock here.
Yeah, I mean, he said it. That's dynamite. If red hits so many times on the
black's going to come out, or 00 might come out. 0 might come out too, so that would suck. Then we both lose. But
I always split the 00s.
So
that's not a bad
before
idea.
Lindy gives us the results, Toast is really pissed at my Houston pick, and he's pissed because
it's not. No, we're not going to do that.
Because I'm talking about you overreacting.
You keep on using different words and changing the goalpost. Houston is not as good as Detroit. Period. They're not as good team. I didn't say exponentially. I didn't say that they were going to win the division. I just said that right now, Houston is not a better team than Detroit. That's it.
I'm just letting everyone know that I am in the lead substantially in Kyle's Sauce Network plays here. I am over 13 units, so I can fucking do roulette all I want. I'm winning these fucking games. That's all I'm letting you guys know.
He can base them off roulette if he wants.
I don't give a shit what happens. I'm winning
can
these
Toast
games.
go, please? Thank you.
I am not. I do like Jack Flaherty a lot at times, but I am not a Ronel Blanco fan. I'm not going to get into this right now, going deep into it, but I think that last year was more of a fluke than anything. I think it was more. He had a couple stretches through last year where he was really dominant. He also had stretches last year where he looked pretty average, and I'm not really so sure from what I've seen. He's been good this year. I'm not trying to say that he's been getting killed or anything, but Toronto, St. Louis, the Angels, Minnesota, San Francisco. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm just not really in on Blanco. It would only be Detroit for me. I did not bet it. I think that for one, I don't like the fact that Detroit just played like 11 games at home and it's going to be their first game on the road. I don't like the fact that Houston has probably last year's playoffs in their mind after Detroit embarrassed that team. So there's a lot of things that I know that they're not the same players and whatnot, but there's just enough things for me not to bet the game. So I didn't even bet the game. It would only be Detroit for me. But again, I didn't bet it.
Lindy, do you have some results for me?
I do. It would be very close to what it's at right now. Houston would be -116.
I call bullshit on your data.
Not what he expected.
Well, and that Houston team had Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman too, so that helps.
I took them out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in that case, that makes a little bit more sense then.
Fair.
Yeah. Tanner Diaz more of a reverse splits guy. Anyway, continue on.
Toast, you want to share this with the folks?
Yeah. Underdog, Otani absolutely killing the ball right now. 5 hits over his last couple games, 5 hits, 2 doubles, yet to hit a home run. I think that's coming. I think Modai's on his home run, actually. And he also has really good history versus Cabrera. You don't have to worry about him getting pinch hit for or anything like that, as Lindy always worries about. So I actually do pay attention to that a lot more because of you, Lindy. So I appreciate you for that.
Welcome. You're welcome.
And then Jose Ramirez starting to play a little bit better right now. Has 5 multiple hit games since the 16th of April. He's 6 for 9 against Ober, and also has guys like Quan and Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones actually profiles pretty well against Ober today. So I got a couple guys that should be able to get on base in front of him for him hits, runs, and RBIs. And then as far as Jordan Bett concerned, just a guy that's just been kind of killing it over the last week or so. He's had 8 runs scored over his last 9 games. He has 9 hits over his last 9 games. He's going to be batting second in the lineup today in Coors Field with a good run scoring environment with Bryce Elder on the mound, who can always get hit up at times. So yeah, I like him over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs too, especially hitting number 2 in that lineup. So yeah.
All right. So we moved on to, all right, Lindy. I took the Rockies at plus 150. Obviously not a huge position here. I know it's crazy.
Oh my God.
But the Rockies are the most profitable home team in baseball in the last 2 seasons. The most profitable in baseball, and they're.
I just say I don't like Scoop. He's very mean to me.
None of us do.
Scoop's on one today. He's going through it.
I haven't been on the show in like a couple weeks. It's hot in here.
He's going through something.
If I could see your eyes, I would look into your soul and tell you what a bad person you are. But I can't even see you over your cap.
So anyway, I think we have the starting pitching advantage here with Colorado. You got Atlanta just flying in with I mean, you can't, even if you don't like the Rockies, you want to tell me how bad the Rockies are, fair. They are the most profitable home team in baseball the last 2 seasons, and you can't tell me that Bryce Elder on the road in Coors is not going to give up runs. If Bryce Elder pitches 6 shutout innings on the road in Coors, I might just be like, okay, guys, I don't know shit. But it's Bryce Elder on the road in Coors Field. I think they could very easily have 8 runs at the end of 5 innings. So I thought it was worth the shot at plus 150. Lindy?
I hate this game. And I normally love Coors Field. Like, I normally love Coors. There's just so many conflicting data points that make it hard for me to handicap. You have the team that strikes out the most against righty pitching, Colorado. You have the team with the lowest WRC plus in baseball against righty pitching. That is Colorado. You have a team in Atlanta where if you go back to 2024 data the way that we just did, you're probably going to have them pop in this spot. And if you go the other direction and say, oh, well, you know, Atlanta's been down this season, well, guess what? They still have a 107 WRC plus and a 160 ISO against right-handed pitching. So, like, they're not exactly flat zeros in any kind of way, shape, or form. And I generally like Feltner, and I like Feltner a lot more than I like Bryce Elder. And yet I would have to lean towards Atlanta minus 1.5, but I'm not going to bet it more than likely. It's like, I would either go Atlanta minus 1.5 or I'd go Colorado money line at these numbers just because it's like,
right.
I just want to get paid in some direct. Like if Atlanta wins this game by 1, just fuck me. But like, I really hate this baseball game. It's so hard to get a feel for. And we don't have a lot on Jordan Beck. He's batting second there today. I know you just brought him up for the underdog card. Trejo and Amador, no idea at the bottom of that lineup. You've got, Michael Harris, what's going on with you? What's actually going on with you in your soul, Michael Harris II? Like,
I don't know, but he's a lefty, and that makes it a positive for Feltner because Feltner's really bad against him. And if he doesn't have to worry about him, that's another notch on old Feltner's belt.
Yeah, we'll see this lineup when it rolls out. But as of right now, yesterday, Alex Verdugo going 4 for 4. Like, what is going on? This is just so stupid. Like, I hate these kind of games where it's just like high variance baseball. And speaking to your point, I think this is a great point by Kyle here. I think it's one of those games where Colorado, they're always going to be undervalued when they're at home. And then you get high variance baseball where everything's different for the other 160 something games that a team's going to play that are outside of Coors Field. And then this team gets to play 81 games. So they should have a competitive advantage every single time in Coors Field, just with how they set up their lineup. It has not been the case this year, but that's traditionally been the case. So I'm staying away, but I don't want to. I want to bet something here.
Yeah, and all last year and the year before when we were betting, every time we bet the Rockies at home the last 2 years, the comments are like, what an idiot. Like, even when they were the most profitable home team in baseball, people will still say that based on how bad they are on the road. So I
Weird, because people are smart.
Toast, did you take the Rockies?
Yeah, I took them last night. It's just one of those spot plays that I've kind of figured out, and that I really, really like is when you have Colorado playing a series at home like they did against Cincinnati, and then they get to play it. They start another series the next day, and they get a team traveling in without a day off to acclimate against that altitude. I really like the spot for them, on top of the fact that I do think that we have a starting pitching advantage with Ryan Feltner, that he's been really good this year. He had one blow-up start against the Dodgers, but besides that, he's been really good against Milwaukee, Oakland, Kansas City, Tampa Bay. I mean, I guess the Oakland start wasn't great, but Sacramento, whatever. But I at the same time, I don't think that the Braves and Bryce Elder on the road should be this big of favorites to anybody, even though the Rockies are that bad. And it's not like the Braves offense, especially versus like right-handed starters, is really killing the game right now. So I do think that Feltner could get through probably at least 6 innings here. I mean, Kelly, Gallen, Michaelis, Palante, Fetty, Joe Ryan, SWR, Paddock, Bassett, Gausman, all those righty starters that the Braves have seen. I would put Feltner in the same class as all those guys, if not better than most of them. So, yeah, I'm on the Rockies today.
I think Scoop's on Atlanta.
Yeah, Lindy, sorry. I turned 40, so I think like I'm going through menopause, like someone said. So I apologize.
I got it.
Yeah. I think the Braves absolutely rocked this team. Pun intended. Really bad one. If you bet the Rockies this season in their 27 games, you are down 18.39 units on the season. So I understand, they were good in the previous years betting them at home. I understand you both are on the Rockies here, but the Rockies are just rock bottom. Another pun there. It's just so bad. At this point, they should just let everyone young play and see what they got. Rockies pitching's bad. ERA is second worst whip, worst in strikeouts, worst opposing batting average. They're not bad in walks, though. They're a solid 19th. But no, even at Coors, you still have the third worst batting average, third worst on base, third worst on base and slugging. Feltner looked decent. I agree with them in there. Looked decent against the Royals too last time out, but I feel like it's going to be a bit different here against the Braves. They're starting to hit again. So I do like the Braves minus 105 minus 115. I understand that Colorado actually has a decent bullpen right now. The 3.98 ERA is actually impressive for them, especially at Coors Field, but I don't really see them continuing. I can't back a Rockies team that's shown nothing. I think Lindy said it. They're also last in expected batting average, expected slugging, ex-WOBA. The way Colorado can win this game is if they somehow start hitting. Elder's, I agree with Toast and Kyle. He's a back of the middle rotation guy, so if they can get something against him, sure, they can win this game. But I just no way I can waste my money on the Rockies right now.
All right,
props to you guys though. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're very brave.
It's not my first rodeo.
Marlins on the road in Dodger Stadium. Looks like Miami took some money. It's down to plus 225. And actually, I know Scoop has a prop in this game because I saw the graphic.
Yeah. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. We all know who they are. I took Ohtani over 1.5 bases. He's 2-5 already against Cabrera. He has 10 total bases in his last 2 games alone. He's actually averaging 2.56 bases total against his last 9 outings. And also he's Ohtani. So, there's really nothing you can say about him. But the other one I do have, I have the over in this game as well. Miami's 4-7, I know, is the away team. I just don't like Dustin May enough to lay the 1.5. I know he's still fresh off his injuries. He had a great start to the season, then got rocked. And he's still walking players a lot. Miami just gave up 14 runs to Seattle. So really, you can't trust Edward Cabrera in Los Angeles. There's absolutely no way. He already has a 144 whip. He's given up a home run in each of his last 3 outings. Hopefully this time we get to Ohtani. And he's walked 2+ in his last 3 too. So Cabrera's at a 6.14 ERA. It's not like last year he did much better. I think he was at like a 4.6. But last 15, Miami's 12-3 to the over. Last 5, LA is 4-1 to the over. Last 9, Miami and Dodgers went 8-1 to the over. So plus Miami's bullpen is just straight trash. So I like the over in this game. I don't like Dustin May, especially to lay to 1.5, but I'm definitely on the over, and I like Ohtani. Shocker.
It would only be Dodgers minus 1.5 for me. Lindy?
This is just so hard. I want to bet against Dustin May really, really badly. It's hard. It's really hard. And Edward Cabrera has the best stuff plus by far on today's slate. He's also got the worst location plus. What does this mean? High variance baseball. You know what else? This is his first road start of the entire season. I have no idea what to make of Edward Cabrera in this spot, but he's made some noticeable improvements. Does that carry over into a road spot against the Los Angeles Dodgers? Probably not, but I am entertaining plus 225 Miami money line. I'm at least thinking about it. Haven't pulled the trigger by any means. I do have Ohtani plus 310 homer, so I'll just join everybody with the Ohtani homer here, because Edward Cabrera, if you're missing location against Ohtani and you're not getting any swing and miss, it's going very high and very far. Ohtani, I don't care about how many games he hasn't hit a home run or has hit a homer or anything like that. It just comes down to he's the best hitter in baseball when healthy, when ready to rock. Him and Aaron Judge 1-2 from respective sides of the plate. And it's hard because, again, Edward Cabrera has looked so much better to me this season, and I can't do it because I just don't trust it on the road yet. I haven't seen it on the road yet. He walks too many guys, has a 10% barrel percentage. There's just things that stand out in the repertoire that are still problems. But Dustin May, man, every single time I think he's going to start putting it together, he does the opposite. And 3.68 expected ERA looks great. Last couple seasons, he's been sub 3.7 ERA. So or 3.7 expected ERA, that is. He's had some interesting starts. Atlanta, Washington, Colorado, Chicago. I mean, some goods, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But I definitely think that Edward Cabrera is the guy that I have a tough time figuring out exactly how I want to handle, but I definitely am going to have something that I want to bet here. But Miami money line is definitely the lean between the two, and that's just disturbing to say out loud.
That is filthy. That's filthy talk.
I mean, I said the Rockies were.
The Rockies are a respectable play. The Marlins.
This is even crazy.
Toast. Yeah. What do you think?
So Ohtani over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Just run that over every night. It's minus 140. I don't really care. I almost play that almost daily. And just when he gets on base, he scores a run. That's why I like doing that. I don't worry about the home runs. I don't know when he's hit a home run last either, but I know that only 3 times this year has he got a hit and not scored a run. So I have a hard time believing he doesn't do that. I wouldn't mind. I don't mind the Miami side. I know I said the Dodgers last night. There's this, I don't know if it's just our Discord or the people that we talk to, but this idea that Dustin May is bad, I just don't get that at all.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's just coming back from injuries.
And he doesn't get any chase with like any of his main offerings, just relative to MLB levels. And like, I think he needs to just throw the cutter more to lefties, and he's just not doing it. He's only thrown it 12 times all year, and it's a good pitch. I don't know what the Dodgers are trying to do with him. My belief is that maybe they are trying to just simply say, hey, we want to keep you healthy, don't want to be running you out there too much, and maybe like have him work on stuff and then develop him later. Like they've been doing that with pitchers in years past, where it's like, oh, we'll send him down to AAA. We'll kind of be schematic about everything that we want to do, have him work on the pitches that we'll think he'll throw in the 6th, 7th inning, when he shows up as a bullpen arm in the playoffs, because that's all they think about all season long is how to be prime for October.
Miami's also hitting breaking pitches well this season compared to other teams. I think they're in the top 10.
Anyway, sorry.
But my point to why I didn't bet the Dodgers is because I'm just not. First of all, their bullpen is a situation for me. Not that they're taxed or anything like that, but I just don't know what I think of them right now. I keep on telling everybody that Tanner Scott isn't a closer, and a lot of those other guys is kind of hit or miss for me. But I'm not going to let 2 really good games against a really bad Pittsburgh pitching staff negate the fact that since the middle of this month, this Dodgers offense hasn't been doing anything. And I would agree that sooner or later it's going to click and everything's going to start going. But I'm not willing to pay this price, especially for a Dodgers run line in this situation. So I'm just going to worry about Ohtani. But I just wanted to point that out with the Dodgers. I would pump the brakes as far as that offense being all the way back. So because there's conflicting issues there, that's for sure.
All right, that's the last game. Lindy, where can these folks find your stuff?
Oh, you can find me over at Oddshopper, oddshopper.com. You don't have to pull up the graphic for today, so we're all good here. Ready to rock. Oddshopper.com and the Oddshopper YouTube channel. Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks every Sunday through Thursday night recording for every slate Monday through Friday, doing that in the MLB, NBA streets. And soon going to throw my PGA at the end of those videos too on Wednesday evenings because I just bet too much of it. Never really been something that I've thrown out there because I do enough content in the world. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X, putting together a bet thread today, throwing everything together, trying to help people get better at this thing we call betting. And thanks for having me as always, Kyle.
For sure. Betting league starts today. New week. We're all starting at 0. You have you have about 46 minutes to submit. So if you're getting into the betting league this week, make sure you submit your picks by 6 o'clock Eastern. Everyone enjoy your night. Hit me up in the